Whew, it's a beautiful day. It's probably about 15-16 degrees, but it feels a lot warmer than that. The sun's belting down and there isn't a lot of wind today, but there is a little bit of wind and that's drying the ground out. It's not been warm up until now, so this is the best day we've had for a while really, so that's why it feels so warm. So this is sweet corn trials. Now I haven't made an introduction to this, but I might do. I've got some seed that I saved from my own sweet corn last year. It's open pollinated variety, and I only had a few plants, and they said if you want to keep seed from sweet corn you've got to have at least 200 plants. So I'm not sure how much seed I got, but I'm pretty sure I got more than that. Obviously I didn't from last year, did I? That was just from the one, but that was from bought seed, which hopefully has got genetic variation in it, but we'll see how it goes. I have bought some new seed as well, just in case. I'll try and mix some of that in too to try and get some variation. But anyway, this is what I've done. I've done this today. This is where the pigs were. Let's go back to the start. So this is where the pigs were all winter. This is where you can see down there is the yellow flowers. That's the remainder of the stubble turnips, and this is where they were. And right here behind the low door is the where the ark was. So you can see that if you've been watching videos up until now. But anyway, that's where the ark was, and just in front is where I had the wood chips with the feeder, and that did a really good job. But it did get wet at times. It wasn't a really wet winter, but they poached it up, and you can see here this is where around the feeder it's rock hard now. And actually most of this was like this, so they poached it, and this has had nothing done to it, and it's dried and cracked, and the pigs have stomped all the air out of the soil. It's really probably quite compacted. But anyway, I went over it a few weeks ago when it dried up a bit with the vibratiller, and pulled it all up. I didn't go really deep, but I went both ways and crisscrossed the top, and then I've rolled it down on this piece here, and in between where you can see where I've been digging today and those turnips is where I'd sowed probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I can't remember the exact date, but I've got it written down. That's Westerwold's ryegrass, clover and chicory coming up. So anyway, this is what it looked like about a week ago after I rolled it down, and that's kept the moisture in, and we've had a few little bits of rain, nothing tearing. It's pretty dry now. So I've come out with a potato banker today and gone as deep as I could, and it was pretty hard. But I pulled it down through as deep as I could, and you can see what I've done. See how deep it is. It's probably, well, I can't really tell. I haven't measured it, but I'm gonna guess it's a good 6 inches. It could be a bit more than that. If I'm honest, I don't really know. Anyway, we'll cut that bit out. I'll probably measure it and put in what it is. So I've guessed it, to be fair. I think I've got 17 rows. I haven't counted the end ones because they're only little light ones. 17 rows, and they're 2 feet apart, which is 60 centimeters, so that should be just over 10 meters. And I've paced it. I haven't measured it, but I'm pretty sure I'm about 13 meters this way, and I'm planning to put around it the net, electric netting, the chicken wire, because the chickens don't need that this year, to keep the rabbits out, because I know rabbits are going to get in there, and I think I'm probably going to have to put a net over the top as well to keep the birds out, but I haven't worked quite out how I'm going to do that yet. So that's where I've got to, and then I've come along with a bucket full of compost, so mostly worm casts, and I've done these across the top the other way, but you've probably seen that already. I don't know why I did that. It made it easier, I think, to put the net around, but I don't know. I've got too big an area here. I think 17 rows, 13 meters. If I'm going to put seed in 6 inches apart, I'm going to be about 80 plants per row, is it? No, not that many. Crikey knows. It's a lot of plants though, isn't it? I haven't got that many, so I've got too many rows, but I'll see how I get on. What I've done is I'm going to leave this middle row as a control, and I'll probably leave another row or two as a control with no compost in it, and then the very next row. Now this is why I'm filming it, because I'm never going to remember this, and if I write it down it's going to get lost. So that's why I've gone and got the camera and decided I need to film this. So this row here in the middle I've marked it with a stick, and I'll make sure that is definitely secure. But it's the middle row, and there's 17 rows, so there's 8 either side, so I don't think I can get too confused about that. The first one next to the middle row, I've put a little skitter of worm casts in, hardly anything. 3 or 4 prongfuls in the whole row, hardly anything. And the next 2 rows, I've put a medium amount in, so not quite half full, but almost half filled up the V. And then further down, you can see I've covered it, and that's what I'm planning on doing with all these rows, actually, including the control, because I'm going to treat them the same. Just want to cover it just to keep the moisture in, so it doesn't dry out too much more. The sun's going down now, and it's sort of 5 or 4 o'clock, so I think it's going to cool off soon. And then so the third row, the first row. Sorry, the first row is a little skidder. Then I've got 2 rows where I've got medium amount, and then it'll be the 4th one after the middle is what I found some dung still in the worm cast which hasn't been through the worm, so it's undigested dung, but it is composted, but it hasn't been through the worm. So I've just put that in its own little row, and I'll cover that up in a minute. And then I've got another row with just a little skitter in. And then I've got another row, I haven't quite finished this row yet, I'll move up this way a bit further because it's all falling through the prong. Another row with a medium amount in. And then the next row after that, which should be the 7th, after the for control is 0, then this 7th row I'm filling up. So I'm going to fill it all the way, and not sure if I'll be able to cover that, but I might just try and pull a little bit of soil over the top. And then I'm going to leave this row as a control as well, the end one, and then I don't know what I'm going to do the other side yet. To be fair, I didn't make a plan at this, it's just how it's worked out. And I'll fill that up now and see how that goes. Okay, so I've done the other side, the left hand side, as we look at it from the top end, and the very middle row, as I said, was row 0, and that's a empty row, control, and so is number 1 on the left. Thought I'd put 2 together, and then this one here obviously only has a skitter in it. Now I've got a little bit more technical for the second side. I've been and got myself another bucket load. I've used 1 bucket load exactly on both sides, and the prong I was using, was falling through, so I've got the shovel now, and I've actually measured. Now I haven't measured it yet, so it's 13 meters that I think it is, but I think it's 13 meters. I haven't measured how much the shovel holds either, but in this row, which is the second one on the left, I have put 1 shovel per meter, and I've just guessed that, but I'm assuming it's 13 meters, and I've put 13 shovelfuls in, and I've evenly spaced it. Now that's a bit more than a skitter, but not as much as the ones over there that I put a medium amount in. So that's 1 row, and then the next row I have put 2 shovelfuls per meter, and I think that is a little bit more than what I put here on this row that I said was a medium amount, and that one there that I said was a medium amount, although that one I think got a little bit more, so it's probably the same as that one and a bit less than that one. So if you're following me, that second row is 1 shovel per meter, the third row is 2 shovels per meter, and then the next row, which is the 4th one, is also 2 shovels per meter, but I put a bucket full spread evenly all the way down of biochar, and it's not activated biochar, it's just the biochar that I've made this year, and that's the only row I've put biochar in. I probably could have done another one, but I only brought 1 bucket with me, and I didn't want to go back and get any more. I might try putting some, I don't know if I'll do any more, but we'll see. So those 2 rows got the same compost, but the 4th one has got biochar, and then the next 2, which is the 5th and 6th, they've both got 3 shovelfuls per meter, and that doesn't look quite as much as the row over there that I filled up. It's not, there's 2 rows I filled up, I can't remember, but anyway, that's why I'm recording it. There's not as much as a full row. I would say that full row over there is probably 4 shovelfuls per metre. A good 4 shovelfuls per metre. That's what I'm guessing. And then the last 2 rows here, I've put 1 shovel per metre because that was what I had left, and I've used 1 bucket each side. And that's how it is. So hopefully I got that documented. Now I've had a mental arithmetic while I was shoveling, and I'm worked out that probably that is enough for, if I put them 6 inches apart in every row, enough for about 13 or 1400 plants, which I haven't got half of that. I don't think I've got, if I got 400 I'd be surprised seeds. So, but that's okay, because I'll probably do strips, and all the rows are the same all the way down this way, but going the other way I've got plans to do different trials going across rows, so that way. Various different things. I got some mulch, I got some cover crops, and obviously I haven't got enough sweet corn to do it all, so I can put some other plants in as well. So I might do, maybe I'll do 3 strips of sweet corn, and I might do a strip of someone else and a strip of someone else and a strip of someone else. I don't know what yet. Maybe, well, I might try some watermelons outside, but I don't know what they'll grow like. And I'll think of someone else to put in here as well. But I've got to work out how to keep the rabbits off and keep the birds off, because, well, I can keep the rabbits off, that's going to be easy, but the birds, that's going to be the tricky thing. Right, anyway, I'm going to get this covered over. Right, there we go. Filled them in there the best I can. There's still a few big knobs which are a bit, you know, they're really compacted and stuck together, but they'll dry out and break up, and it'll rain on them. I'm not worried about it being too dry, that's for sure. We're in Cornwall, so not worried about that. It'll rain most days in June and July and August, I expect. So I'm not too worried about moisture, but I didn't want the compost to dry out, so that's why I've covered that. And I've left these, I don't know, I put the rows on the end. Obviously where I lifted it up, it didn't dig very deep, so I just turned around and went the other way. Just 1 pass each end. So I've left them open, and I'm not sure what I'm going to put in there, how it will work out. Just as long as the birds don't eat them all. That's my only worry at the moment. Got to protect them from the birds. Okay, right, so that's it for today.